You got a guy coming in. He's from Nashville, Tennessee. Just got back from Africa, and now he landed right here in Benton, Arkansas. So you guys give a warm Saline County welcome for Alan Stokes.
Hey guys, how's it going, Amplify? I know, I'm just going to address the obvious. I know I'm not really a mainline speaker. I know that this is probably a lot of y'all's first time hearing my name or seeing who I am. But I do know two things. I know that there's power in the blood and that there's power in the Word of God.
Yeah.
And I would love to crack that open and get into it with you guys. So a little bit about me is I grew up in church. I always knew of God. I knew the church hymns. I knew the church thing. I would show up every Sunday, go to Sunday school. But the issue is that I never had a personal relationship with Jesus in my life. And it wasn't until I was at rock bottom that I started realizing that there was something a lot different about Jesus. And as I started reading my word and trying to figure out what this was that I couldn't put my finger on, I came across this verse, and it's Luke 9:23. And in Luke 9:23 it says this: "And if anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me." And that hits so hard at home for me, because Jesus is saying, if you are to come after me, the first thing you have to do is you have to deny yourself. And I wasn't doing that. I was living in all types of sins and all these different things that I wanted to do. I was stuck in pornography. I was doing things with my ex-girlfriend that I should not have been doing. If there was anything that my heart wanted, I did not withhold it from my heart. And Jesus said, no. You can't pursue me in that way. You must, if you are to come after me, one, deny yourself of those things. And then two, which is way more challenging, he goes on to say, you must take up your cross daily and follow me. I think a lot of times in the American church culture, we get into saying this one-time prayer, and then we live our lives as though God doesn't exist. We hear a lot of people say, there are 2,500 different religions. What separates Christianity from those religions? And I would say that it can be something that we could get offended by that they ask. But I think the more important problem is that the reason why they're asking those questions is because we're living like Christianity is like all the other religions.
Wow.
We aren't taking up our cross daily and following Jesus. And this isn't a light call, and the followers of Jesus were completely aware of this. Because in that time period, the cross that Jesus carried on his back is estimated to be as much as 300 pounds. There's a lot of strain in carrying your cross. And not only that, but more importantly, it wasn't just a cool thing you could wear on a chain necklace or on your earrings, but it was a call to die to ourselves. Whether that be spiritually, to our desires, or literally laying down our lives. And the thing is that as followers of Jesus, we have to be willing to lay our lives down for Jesus. And I know a lot of you may be saying, man, that's kind of harsh, and that's a lot. And for me, it was a lot for me to take in. I didn't quite understand it. But what I realized is that 1 Corinthians 1:18 says that the word of the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing. And I realized something very important about the Bible, and that's the fact that Jesus never gave opinions. The call to die to ourselves, the call to pick up our cross every single day and follow him, regardless of what we feel like, regardless of what it looks like. That's not just a suggestion that Jesus gave. That's a call to anyone to come after him. And that's why in the next verse he says, whoever is willing to save his life will lose it, but whoever would lose his life for my sake will surely find it. And I just want to get this across, because in that time in my life, I was buying into the lie that Satan tells all of us. You see, he tells us that the things of this world can fulfill us in ways that God can never. that if you give up partying, if you give up sex, if you give up pornography and getting high, if you do all those different things, it may be worth it in the end, but it's a real waste of time right now because you're going to miss out on a lot. But the problem is, it's a lie, and I've lived it. I lived that entire lifestyle, and it was all a lie. Nothing could fulfill me. Because you see, the truth is that true life comes completely from surrendering to God. There's no true life found in the things of this world. There's no amount of money. There's no amount of drugs. There's no amount of anything that you can do that will end up fulfilling you. And by far, one of my all-time favorite stories is a story about Tom Brady after he finished winning the Super Bowl, his third one. You see, at this point, Tom Brady had just won his third Super Bowl, and a reporter came up to him and asked him, "How do you feel? How does it feel winning your third Super Bowl?" And you know what Tom Brady said? He didn't say it feels great. He didn't say I'm the happiest I've ever been. He said, I feel empty. And the reporter proceeded to ask him, why do you feel that way? And he said, I don't know. If I knew, I would tell you. And the craziest part about this story to me is the fact that Tom Brady had everything that the world can offer. He was married to a supermodel. He had kids. He had millions of dollars. He just won his third Super Bowl. At this point, he's already arguably the greatest quarterback of all time. But no matter what he achieved, no matter how many Super Bowls he won, it was never enough. And the thing is that it never will be enough. No matter what lie you're chasing, no matter what you're pursuing, it's never gonna be enough. And that is so weird hearing in a culture that says, do what you wanna do, pursue what you wanna pursue, give into your heart's desires. But in Jeremiah 17:9, God says that the heart is deceitful and wicked and desperately sick. We can't follow our heart in a culture that says follow your heart. In fact, the first verse in the Satanic Bible doesn't say bow down and worship Satan. It doesn't say do weird rituals. It says do what you want to do. And the call for Jesus is not a light call. It's not a call for the lighthearted. It's a call to literally be willing to lay down your life and pursue Jesus with everything you've got. Because Jesus isn't interested in being in your Instagram bio. He's not interested in you showing up just to church on Sundays and living however you want the rest of the week. You see, Jesus doesn't want 90% of you. He doesn't want 99% of you. And he definitely doesn't want 99.9% of you. He wants 100% of your life. And that's a call that all of us have to make. Are we going to choose to live for ourselves or live for Jesus? Are we willing to put ourselves above Jesus and live for the things that we want to do? Or are we willing to lay down our life? Whether that means metaphorically or literally, lay down our life for Jesus and give him absolutely everything. I'm going to end it with a quote by one of my favorite martyrs of all time. And if you don't know who it is, his name is Jim Elliot. And he ended up dying for his faith. And a quote that's one of my favorites of his, he says, "He is no fool who gives up what he cannot keep to gain what he cannot lose." And what he's saying here is that even though it may seem foolish to the world, giving up our lives are something we can't keep anyways, to gain an eternal reward, something that we cannot lose, is priceless. There's not a higher call than to give up your life for the Lord. And I'm not saying that you're probably going to be called to go out to China and lose your life. In fact, odds are almost none of you will be called to do that. But you are called to every single day deny yourself, take up your cross daily, and follow Jesus. And not be willing to save your life, but lose it for him. So instead of living the comfortable Christianity and comparing yourself to these Christians who show up on Sundays and just do the things in between, instead of just knowing about God, desire God deeper. Desire to know God more and more. A.W. Tozer says this: every man is as close to God as he chooses to be. So I want to challenge you guys. Don't settle for less. Don't settle for just getting into heaven. Jesus is someone that wants to know you personally, and the fact that we have a Bible shows that he wants to know you intimately. Stop settling for so much less than what Jesus has died for, and give your life to him, and go live radically for him. I love you guys. Have a great festival. It's going to be awesome pursuing God. God bless y'all.
Thank you. What a powerful message.